So you are looking for a performance max campaign structure for your accounts. So you're an e-commerce business and performance max is a relatively new concept that has a lot of opportunities but has a lot of unknowns to it. Performance max hasn't been around for a huge amount of time, so there's been a lot of teething problems with it as the actual campaign type itself, but also how best to structure. So I work for a marketing agency and I worked in marketing for the past 4 years, and I've used performance max campaigns quite a lot. And with this campaign structure in mind, I have managed to get my clients consistently over a 10 ROAS for the past 6 months or so, 4 or 5 months. So yeah, this is really good, and this is the sort of structure we use within the agency I work for. Overall, this is a campaign structure that works off the 80-20 rule. So the 80-20 rule is that 80% of your sales comes from 20% of your products. So you have 20% of your products but generating all of the revenue pretty much, and the other 80% don't. These are your hero products. They take up the most demand, they take up the most impressions, and what we do with the Performance Max campaign structure is we split them out. So what we do, we split it out per 2 campaign types. We have a higher ROAS campaign and we have a lower ROAS campaign. So the 20% of products are in our higher ROAS campaign here, and because we have fewer products in this higher ROAS campaign, we segment it out per product specific ad groups or asset groups, Because we have fewer products to actually list, we can be more specific with our asset groups, and therefore we can be more specific with the images used and also the ad copy used. So I am very much one for being as specific as possible and using message match as possible to increase the quality of our Google Ads campaigns. So this is the campaign number 1. We have a higher ROAS campaign where 20% of our top performing products go into. The second campaign we have is a lower ROAS campaign. So this is the campaign that houses the other 80% of our products but only generate 20% of our revenue. So we don't want to not include those products at all, but we're going to put those into a separate campaign, because basically all your budget, the majority of your budget and the return is going to come from this campaign here. And then the other campaign is a supplementary campaign that we don't want to not include. So imagine 80% of our budget is going to go to this, 20% of our budget is going to go to this. Okay. And because we have more products in here, we typically put those into asset groups of product group level. So this one works at product specific level. This one works at product group level. Okay, and these are a few examples of what we have. So one asset group can be a catch-all and the other ones can be product groups. So this one was also saying product specific, but I would also probably put in a catch-all campaign as well, a catch-all asset group in that as well. So let's go over a few points as to why we do it this way and how this has generated 10 ROAS consistently with this campaign split. So Performance Max works best with as much data as possible for asset groups. Therefore, instead of segmenting this out into, say, 6 campaigns, we only need to use two campaigns for this to work properly. And this client who I did this for the 10 ROAS had literally 1,500 products. Okay, multiple sizes, but core products and all the different variations was 1,500 SKUs they had. So you don't need to have loads of different Performance Max campaigns. You want to house the data in those campaigns specifically and feed that machine. You want to feed that and expand out your asset groups as much as you can with that. So the next recommendation I have is to segment your campaigns per country. So for this example, we have a higher ROAS and a lower ROAS campaign within the UK. If we're serving in, say, the United States and Canada, I would have a higher ROAS campaign for the US and a lower ROAS campaign for the US as well. And I would also do this for Canada. I like to split it up per country so I can see the performance per different countries, because this client in particular had a lot of success in the US and the UK, but not so much in Canada. So not including Canada meant we could have its own budget go into that campaign, and I could be more frugal with that campaign because I want to put the budget to the highest performers, which was the US and the UK. So this one goes over basically what I've said, but we segment products by the ROAS they can achieve rather than their product groups. So the 20% of products that make up 80% of our revenue are going to be the higher achieving products and give us a higher return and a higher ROAS. So that's why we put it like that. Because if we house all of these products together, then those 20%, the top performers, are going to suck up all of that budget, and they're not going to give the other 80% a chance to have anything, really. So segmenting them out, and it gives us more ability to have specific budgets set to those, so we're not just throwing it all into one campaign. The next thing I recommend doing is using value-based bidding strategy. I like to use maximize conversions with a target ROAS. So this ROAS here, which would say we'll get in a 12 ROAS, I'd set that to around 12, and this one was a lot lower, so I'd set it around to like an 8 or a 7. Okay, and that's typically what we did. And the final recommendation is to use previous purchase data in your signals, in your audience signals. Previous purchasers in your audience signals is probably the most important section of it. I'm going to go over a video where I explain audience signals and how best to lay them out, because there is a specific way I recommend laying them out from my experience. So make sure to see that one. And I'm also going to create a video where I go over creating a Performance Max campaign using this exact strategy. So make sure to subscribe to me to see that. But yeah, that's overall. That is the structure I use, the 80-20 rule, and the higher ROAS and lower ROAS split. Okay, so hopefully that explains that one. Any questions, please feel free to reach out to me on LinkedIn. Ask me any questions to do with Google, any questions to do with marketing. I'd love to connect you guys and expand my following and help you guys out. So yeah, please feel free to do that, and make sure to subscribe to see the next video. All right, thank you guys.